Okay, now this is a chapter. This is the continuation of the story Discovering Tut. I've told you in yesterday's session, this is a story about the great pharaoh ruler Tutankhamun. You must have studied this in history. Tutankhamun was a ruler of the Pharaoh dynasty, and the ruler, he died for a very small tenure, and he died at a very early age. He ruled for a very small tenure, and he died at a very early age. He died in his teenage only, and Tutankhamun's death was a mystery. Nowhere in the history it has been recorded. The reason of his death is not known to anybody. That is the reason historians and archaeologists, years and after, they have shown a lot of interest in knowing about Tutankhamun's life. The Pharaoh dynasty ended with this young ruler. He was the last heir of the Pharaoh dynasty. Several archaeologists have dug out and historians have found out things in cemetery where he was buried, right? In the year 2002, Tutankhamun's dead body was taken out of the grave, and the body had to undergo several X rays and CT scans. The reason why this was done to basically to unreveal the mystery behind the great pharaoh ruler's death, right? So we I'm continuing with the text reading. Srishti, please start reading the second stanza.
An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as the King Tut was taken from his resting place in ancient Egyptian cemetery known as Valley of the Kings. Dark-bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were veiling the stars in cascade gray. It was 6 p.m. on 5 January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3300 years ago.
Okay, an angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of the Kings. There was a different cemetery made up for all the royal people, the kings and the queens, and the people belonging to the warrior clan, basically. So there was this separate cemetery was made known as the Valley of the Kings. So his grave was found and dug. So it was after taking the permission from the government and everybody, the archaeologists had to dug the great pharaoh ruler's dead body out of the grave. So dark belly clouds and scudded across the desert sky all day and now were veiling the stars in Cascade Re. So it was a stormy weather. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. So the ruler died almost 3,000 years before. Shrishti, please continue further.
Ma'am, please scroll the screen.
Yeah, just a second. Continue.
A fast, strange, and unnatural wind was blowing as King Tut's body was taken from his grave called Valleys of King, an ancient Egyptian cemetery of the kings cemetery. Dark clouds moved quickly across the desert all day long and later they covered the stars. On January 5, 2005, at 6 p.m., King Tut's mummy, which is world's most famous mummy, was placed in CT scanner to investigate the mystery behind his death, which had occurred more than 33 years ago. All afternoon, the usual line
Which
of
occurred
tourists.
more than, just a second, Srishti, which had occurred more than 3,300 years ago, not 33 years ago. Now, this was a challenge for the archaeologists. It was not an easy task to take out a grave, take out a dead body, which was buried 3,300 years before. You can imagine how thick layer, it could have been created almost into a fossil. Obviously the flesh would have been decayed, and the body was reduced to mere bones. Not only this, the coffin in which the body was buried, opening up that coffin was a big challenge because it was, all jammed in everything. It was under the ground for so many years. So that was not an easy task. And then detaching the dead body from the coffin was another challenge, which we'll be reading further in the story. Please continue further.
All afternoon, the usual
Just,
line.
just give me a pause for a moment here. Okay, please continue further. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists.
All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into cramped rock-cut tomb some 26 feet underground to pay their respect. They gazed at the murals of the wall of burial chamber and peered at Tut's cladded face, the most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper, others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the Feroha curse, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him, was really true.
Now, that afternoon, when in the evening he was about the grave, the dead body was about to be taken out of the grave. That afternoon, a usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped rock cut tomb, some 26 feet underground, to pay their respects. Now, they gazed at the murals on the walls, the writings on the walls of the burial chamber, and they had a glance at the Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper. So people were reading from the guidebooks. They were more interested to know about the great legendary ruler. Others stood silently, perhaps thinking that Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver. Now, there were also beliefs there. Taking out a dead body out of the grave was not an easy task even there. People had various beliefs in their beliefs there also. They believed that disturbing a soul in peace is like bringing curse, right? So the person who is going to do this job would be cursed. So death or misfortune would be falling upon those people who would be disturbing the dead one, right? So was it really true? Nobody knew, but there were different beliefs, there were different sayings, and people had different conceptions regarding this uh, burying of the grave, digging of the grave, sorry. Please continue further.
All afternoon, tourists visited the 26 feet deep underground rock cut tomb
This we
to
have
pay
already done. This is the explanation, dear. Please start from this. The mummy is in very bad condition.
The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in 1920, said Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. As he leaned over the body for a long first look, Howard Carter, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its content, though hastily ransacked in antiquities, was surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of Pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance meant to guarantee resurrection, caused a sensation at the time of discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he had won in afterlife: board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine.
Okay. Now, in 1920, Howard Carter had already done this, right? So Zahi Hawass, the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, said that the mummy was in a very bad condition because it was already a lot of examination, a lot of thing has been gone over it before that only. So he says that the mummy was in a bad condition, as Howard Carter did it in 1922. Now, Tut's tomb, after years of futile searching, its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, was surprisingly complete. The contents of the body were surprisingly complete. They remain in the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Now, there were so many things, as we discussed this thing yesterday also, that we have read in history. Earlier, it happened, many of the people, especially in Egypt, there was a belief that dead ones do require all the materialistic things in this second life. That was the reason that, along with the dead body, a lot of food material, clothing, utensils, weapons, and in case of the royal people, the kings, the queens, even the jewelry and precious stones were also put beside the dead body, right? So, this all these things were there along with Tutankhamun's dead body also. Tut was also buried with everyday things, and that was board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine, and obviously a lot of jewels and precious gems were there. A lot of treasury was buried along with his dead body. That was the reason I connected your story yesterday back to the your visit to that Omax Wonderland, where we have seen that theme park, the treasures of Tut. So Tutankhamun was buried along with a lot of jewelry. Please continue further.
As Zahi Hawa,
करिए बेटा, start करिए.
as Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt, leaned over the body to have a look, he said that mummy was in very bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did it to it in 1920s. He
Okay,
discovered
this.
King Tut's tomb in 1922 after a long search. The valuable treasure of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were complete. The treasure found at Tut's grave is the richest till the date and has come to be known as Pharaoh's legend. It has artifacts in gold which has eternal beautiful and as good as new. Such artifacts still get attention. Tut was buried with things of daily use like razor made of bronze, games, linen undergarments, and box of foods and wine which he could use in next life. After months of careful recording the Pharaoh's funeral treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found the shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, the faded evidence of burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though, he ran into trouble. The ritual resin had hardened, cemented, tucked to the bottom of the solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later. What was to be done?
Okay, after months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, so for months the treasures and everything was detailed. It was jotted down. It was under government custody. Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. There were three coffins along with the dead body. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves. So one was full of garlands and leaves with celery, lotus petals, cornflowers, and the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. So that was evident by that the burial, the legendary king had died in the month of March and April. The plants, the flowers which were buried along with the dead body, they were evident of this. So when he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual resins had hardened. It was pasted with something, right? So that ritual resins is a sticky, flammable substance that is insoluble in water. Because of the rituals they were put inside it, and they had hardened, cementing that to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. So the coffin was entirely made of gold, right? So the body had stuck to that gold coffin. No, obviously, a body is taken out of a grave after hundreds of years, you can imagine what the condition could be. Even if we if it's a small box and we're not opening a box for a few months, or say let's for a year, for a few years, it gets jammed, it gets rusted, right? You're not able to open it, and because of the temperature under the earth, obviously a lot of things might have gone under beneath it, and they were not able to open it that easily. So no amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. So Howard Carter, he was absolutely, he had no idea, because he was the one who started this in 1922. And then when he took out the dead body, a lot of treasury he had handed over to the government. That was done. A lot of things were done under the government custody. And after examining and detailing everything, then the problem was that they were not able to remove the dead body from the gold coffin, because uh, it had got stick into that inflammable material resins. Please continue further. The sun can beat down like a hammer.
The sun can beat down like a hammer. This far south in Egypt, the carter tried to use it to loosen the raisins. For several hours, he set the mummy outside the blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidate material had had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains.
Okay, now because they were not able to detach the dead body from the coffin, they had to find out some way to do it. So, I mean, one idea they had, the temperature, high temperature, heating the coffin at a high temperature, they might be able to do so. But then again, it was made of gold. That would even affect the coffin. I mean, it could have got melted. So they realized that let's put it in sunshine. Sunlight can beat down like a hammer for this in Egypt. And Carter tried to use it to loosen the resins. For several hours, the mummy was set outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged, but still nothing happened. Still, they were not able to detach it. So he reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away. So there was no other option. They had to chisel away. Chisel away is simply to cut something with a chisel. Chisel is like a tool. So they had to chisel the dead body from the coffin in order to get it separated. Please continue further. In his defense, Carter really had little choice.
In his defense, Carter really had little choice if he hadn't cut the mummy free. Thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulous, wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. For his journey to great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklace and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheets for his fingers and toes, and the now iconic inner coffin and mask, all pure of gold. To separate Tut from his adornments, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damage. The bed where Tut now rests.
Okay. Now, according to Carter, he had no choice other than to cut the mummy. So he believed that if he hadn't done that, thieves would have removed the gold from the tomb and would have looted it. Now, that was very much obvious. Treasury, such kind of historical treasury, which is achieved by archaeologists, that is the property of the nation. Nation preserves it, right? Otherwise, could be, and if it's left out open, it could easily be looted, right? So Tut believed that it has to be done at the earliest. So, and because it had a lot of gold, a lot of precious gems accompanied with a dead body, if it was left out open for few more days, he was scared that it might be looted and that might also harm the remains of the great king. During Tut's time, the royal people were very wealthy and they had a belief that after death they could take the wealth along with them. For his life after death, he was given precious collars, necklaces, decorative patterns, bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, shells for fingers and toes. Shells as like a close fitting cover, right? Toes maybe were kind of a jewel they used to wear. So that is known as shells. And iconic in a coffin and a mask. His men removed his head in every joint of his body, right? After they finished, so people were called to to detach the dead body from the coffin. It was not an easy task. Several people were called and several men had to do it. After they finished, they reassembled the remains in a wooden box with padding filled with a layer of sand to conceal the damage. It was his new resting place. After they had finished doing it, they reassembled the remains in a wooden box. The coffin was now given off a wooden coffin was given, and a layer of sand was there to conceal the damages which was done to the body. Right? Please continue further. Archaeology has changed.
Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. It also uses more and more on it also It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery in anatomy, Professor X rayed the mummy and revealed startling fact beneath the resin that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing.
Now, archaeology is a science which actually changes, one's thought process. Also, it's about uh, digging of the graves. It's about unfolding the pages of history which were not known to anybody. Right. So, archaeology, as it now focuses on the details of life and mysteries of death. Earlier, it was about focusing on the treasure. Earlier, perhaps it was about treasure, what all could be achieved. Now it is more about revealing the history. So now it uses more advanced medical technologies and tools for research. In 1968, an anatomy professor X-rayed King Tut's mummy. So King Tut's mummy was X-rayed. The mummy was put in an X-ray machine and revealed that the front limbs and breastbone were missing. Now, even after several years, obviously the flesh is eaten by worms and it gets decomposed, but the remaining is the bones, right? So the bones, he revealed that the breastbone and the front limbs, the anatomy professor, he really revealed that the chest and the breastbone and the front ribs were missing in the mummy. That was a discovery which he did. That now obviously this might give because of this they might jump up to a conclusion that how he died. The mystery of his death might be revealed by that. Right? Please continue further.
Today, diagnostic imaging
It's
can be done
imaging.
with
Yes.
computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of X-rays in cross section are put together like slices of bread to create 3D virtual body. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the X-ray? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die? And how old was he at the time of his death? King Tut's demise was a big event. Even by royal standards, he was the last of his family's line, and his funeral was the death rattle of dynasty. But the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath was unclear.
Okay. Now, King Tut was the last heir of the Pharaoh dynasty, right? His death is still a mystery. Now, the mummy had undergone X-ray machines, computed tomography, that is CT scan, and where hundreds of cross sections are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. Now, even a small cell, the working of a cell, the minutest part of the inner body, human body, can be seen through these machines. But what was the purpose of putting this? What was the purpose of doing all these things? I mean, taking out a dead body from a grave, disturbing a dead one from its resting place, and then it was again a challenge. Another challenge was detaching the dead body from the grave, from the coffin, doing all these things. And after that, what was the purpose behind that? The purpose was to unreveal the mystery. How did the great pharaoh ruler died, and how old was he at the time of his death? Right. Now, King Tut's demise was a big event, even by royal standards. He was the last of his family's line, as I've told you. He was the last heir of the Pharaoh dynasty, and his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. So his death was like a death of a dynasty. The Pharaoh dynasty came to an end by the death of Tutankhamun. So, but the particulars of his passing away and his aftermath are unclear. So, historians, that was the purpose. That was the major thing what they wanted to achieve. Where we do not have an answer in the history, where there's a question mark: what, when, where, how. The historians, they try to dig out, they visit each and every place. They collect evidences. They go through the books and scriptures. Obviously, when we say it's not recorded in history, that means it's not recorded in any of the books. So they look for evidences and they try to dig out the facts related and unreveal those pages of history. The aftermath of Tutankhamun was unclear: how he died, when he died, what happened at that time. That is nowhere recorded, that is nowhere mentioned. So that was a major purpose why they were doing all this, right? Let's continue further. Now, with the advancement of technology,
Now, with the advancement of technology, CT scan or computed tomography can give virtual image of the whole body. With the help of technology, King Tut's body would be scanned to find answers to two questions: how he died and how old was he at the time of death. His death was a shock to royals, also as he was the last person of his family, and his funeral indicated the diminishment of his dynasty. However, what happened after his death is still not clear.
so after so many efforts, the entire body was put under CT scan machines. Virtual imaging of the body was done. So many questions, so many things were done. But the two questions, to find the answers of the two questions: how he died and how old was he at the time of his death. But his death was a shock to the royals. But then still, the questions are still not clear. Right? Please continue further.
Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of 18th dynasty golden age. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten, or servant of the Aten, and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Achaten, known as known now as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Ammon, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes.
The site of ancient Thebes, the family that had ruled for centuries, was coming to an end, and then Akhenaten went a little wacky. Okay. Now, Tut's father, grandfather, Amenhotep III, was a very powerful pharaoh who ruled over a period of 40 years. So, Amenhotep had Tut's father and grandfather. He was very powerful and he ruled for 40 long years. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and began the strangest period in the history of Egypt. He promoted the worship of Aten. Amenhotep IV, he promoted the worship of the sun god and he changed his name to Akhenaten. From Amenhotep, he became Akhenaten, meaning servant of Athens. He also shifted the religious capital from Thebes to the newest city of Akhenaten called Amarna. Further, he attacked Amun, a god, smashed his images and closed his temples. Now, Ray Johnson, director of University of Chicago, said it must have been a bad time for the empire as the family who ruled for centuries came to an end and Akhenaten moved in an odd direction. So Akhenaten was the one who moved in a different direction, and that was something very disastrous for the family. Amenhotep III was the one. Amenhotep IV, he changed his name to Akhenaten and he went in a wrong direction. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Semenkekre appeared briefly and excited with hardly a trace. And then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne. So Tutankhaten after that came. After Akhenaten's death, Semenkekre appeared and then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne. King Tut, as he's widely known, the boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun, and oversaw restoration of the old ways. So he reigned for about 9 years. So the actual name was Tutankhaten, and then he changed it to Tutankhamun, who reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. Now, regardless of his fame and speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many? No one knows. Right? So many mummies have been taken out in Egypt. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine donated by National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regularly ahead of his countrymen. So many mummies have been taken out in Egypt, but King Tut's mummy was the first one which had undergone so many examinations, CT scans, machines, and X-rays. Right? We can stop it here.